everyone, I'm Jennifer Adamson. Thanks for joining me today for Yin Yoga for dancers. Anyone can do this practice, although I am assuming that you have a little bit more flexibility being a dancer. So if you're looking for something that's a little more accessible, I do have a few other videos on my channel that you might want to try. Prop-wise, you can grab 1 or 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use books or an upside-down wastebasket. You probably won't need them, but just get creative with find something around the house that you can use if you don't have blocks. And then I have a couple blankets here. You will want at least 1 blanket, and that will be for our knees. So grab 1 blanket just to cushion the knees. We'll be starting on our back. Bring the soles of the feet together. Draw the heels in toward the hips. And then start to use your hands to guide yourself onto your back. We'll be holding these postures for 3 minutes each. Just take a moment to notice how you're feeling today, physically and mentally. Feel the ribs expand and the belly rise as you breathe in. The belly falls as you breathe out. Lengthen your inhales and your exhales, somewhere around 4 seconds each, just so that you're lengthening the breath. Should still be comfortable, but longer than your normal breath. Allow the hips to soften and open, chest to open. Just a couple of things here. So in yoga, we want to make sure that nothing is ever painful. Discomfort is to be expected, but you should never have pain. So if you feel any burning or pinching or sharpness, come out of the pose. Try to remain as still as possible and keep your attention focused on your breath. Just noticing the physical sensations in your body and also noticing the breath, the sound of the breath, the feel of the breath, the length of the breath. Allow your whole body to relax. Relaxing even the jaw, softening all of the muscles in the face. Using the hands, draw the knees back together. Hug the knees into the chest, releasing the lower back, rock side to side. And then roll up to seated. Keep the soles of the feet together. Draw the heels in toward the hips. Interlace your hands and place them around your toes. And from here, on your exhale, round your spine as you fold forward. The depth of the fold is not important. What we want to focus here is on letting go and breathing through the discomfort. So if you have a block, you can always rest your head on a block. If you need to bring the mat a little bit closer to you, just surrender all of your body weight here to gravity. You should feel a nice deep stretch in the inner groins, maybe even a little bit in the low back. Check in with your breath. Then make your way upright. Draw the knees together. Extend your legs and then windshield wiper out the feet side to side, just like windshield wipers. You can even add in the knees to give yourself a little bit of a break here. We'll be coming into what's called toe squat next. So coming onto the knees, tuck your toes under, and then sit up. So if you need less intensity, lean forward to take off some of the weight. You're sitting straight up, that's about midway. And if you want to add intensity, lean back. So now remember, you're not trying to force anything to happen here. Be gentle with your body. And we're going to be here for 3 minutes, so just keep that in mind. Pace yourself. And each time you come into a pose, just kind of scan your body, noticing anywhere that you're holding tension, anywhere that you can soften, release, and let go. This is one of those poses that the mind often becomes very distracted because it's pretty uncomfortable for most people. So during this time, I want you to try and use your breath to calm your mind. Slow, smooth, controlled inhales, and slow, smooth, controlled exhales. Yoga is a practice to train the mind to be still. So any chaos that you have going on in your mind, It's okay that it's there. Don't try to push it away. Just redirect your attention to your breath. Keep reconnecting with our point of focus, which is our breath. Go ahead and lean forward, untuck your toes, have a seat, give your feet a little massage, a little break here. And wiggle the toes out. As you can tell, it's a really great stretch for the feet. And then when you're ready, go ahead and make your way onto all fours. This is dragon pose. We'll start by taking the right foot outside of the right hand, and then bump your left knee back so that your upper thigh on your left leg or your thigh is at an angle. So you should feel this in front of your left hip, this whole area along the front of the left hip. You can stay upright on the palms, or you can drop down to the forearms. You can rest your head on a block or prop it up on your hands or thumbs, whatever you can reach. Or just let it hang, stretching out the neck and the upper back and shoulders. Try to soften the glutes. Again, scanning your body, noticing any areas that are tensing up. Let go. And the right knee should be over the right ankle here. Hips are squared forward. This is a really important pose for stretching the psoas muscle, and great prep pose for splits, opening up the hamstrings, also for back bends. Need a nice open psoas. Check in on your breath. If your mind has wandered, just simply bring your attention back to the breath. Make your way up to your palms if you're not already. And step that right foot back, coming into all fours. You can extend the right leg back and windshield wiper it out. Maybe making some circles with the right knee. And we'll get to the other side, but in between sides, just to give you a little rest, we're going to come into an ankle stretch. So for this one, you want the knees together, feet together as well, tops of the feet on the mat. And then sit back onto the heels. So just like our toe squat, if you want less intensity, lean forward and put some weight into your hands. And if you want more intensity, you'll lean back. You can allow your chin to rest on your chest. Check back in with your breath. Notice if your mind has wandered. And then gently release the pose, coming onto your bottom. Extend the legs and circle out the ankles. You can massage them if you need to. With that pose, for me, sometimes I don't feel it until I actually come out of the pose. And you can hold these poses anywhere from 1 to 20 minutes. Then when you're ready, make your way back onto all fours for our other side of dragon. Take the left foot outside of the left hand. Bump the right knee back. Left knee over the left ankle. Your right thigh is at an angle. So you should feel this in front of the right hip. And then you can stay up on the palms or drop down to the forearms, your choice. Either let the head hang or rest it on a block. Noticing where you're feeling sensation in your body. And then go ahead and make your way back to all fours. Extend your left leg back. Windshield wiper it out. For our next pose, we're coming into the pigeon or sleeping swan as it's called in Yin. Start by taking your right knee behind your right wrist. Then scoot your right foot towards your left wrist. The knee can be bent as much as you need to. Eventually the shin might get parallel with the front of your mat. Please do not try and force this to happen. Bend it as much as you need to. And then start to bump the left knee back. You can stay upright, or you can drop down to the forearms or even your chest. If you need some support under the right hip, you can use a block or a blanket. Just kind of lodge it under there to add a little bit of extra support if you need that. The hips are squared forward or straight down, basically depending on which angle you're at. Stretching the piriformis muscle. That's what you're feeling in the right hip and glute area. It's therapeutic. This pose is therapeutic for sciatica. And again, notice where you're tensing up and see where you can soften. You can take a systematic approach, maybe starting at the toes and just working your way up towards the top of your head. onto the palms if you're not already. Go back to all fours, extending the right leg back, windshield wiper out the leg. And then switching sides when you're ready. Taking the left knee behind the left wrist. Scoot your left foot towards your right wrist. Remember, you can have that knee bent as much as you need to. And then start to work the right knee back. Hips squared forward, straight down or somewhere in between. Stay upright or drop onto the forearms of the chest. And be aware that it's very common to have imbalances in the body. So if this side feels tighter or maybe it feels more open, that's very common. Just treat each side independently. Don't try to force them to match. Come up onto the palms if you're not already. Lift all fours. Extend the left leg and windshield wiper it out. Circle the knees around. And for this next posture, this is where you'll need a blanket. If you're on carpet, maybe not. I'm going to open up the blanket wide, and this is to support my knees. So we're coming into what's called frog pose. to all fours. And then from here, you're going to start to draw the knees out to the sides. Ideally, there's a 90-degree bend in the knees. So you want the ankles to stay under the knees, and you want the knees to stay in line with the hips. Now that's ideal, okay? So if you need to modify, feel free to. You're going to just start working your way into this. Come onto the forearms. And think of a straight line from the left knee all the way to the hips and all the way over to the right knee. And then both ankles under the knees. Again, you can rest your head on a block here or just let your head hang. If you need to support under the pelvic bone, you can use a block or a pillow or a blanket and kind of lodge it beneath the pelvis, pubic bone. Check in with your breath. And notice once again, where are you holding tension? Where do you feel this? How does your mind react to the discomfort? Do you start to hold your breath? Do you clench your jaw? Make your way up onto your palms, if you're not already, and then start to bring those knees back together. And then allow your hips to drop onto your heels. Rest your forehead on the mat. You can extend the arms forward. This is called child's pose. Just rest here for a few breath cycles. When you're ready, go ahead and come back up to seated. You can take your blanket off to the side. And then make your way onto your belly for Sphinx pose. So the forearms are shoulders width apart, parallel with the sides of the mats. Elbows are under the shoulders. So not too far, not too far up or far back, and right under the shoulders. On your inhale, lengthen from your tailbone all the way to the top of your head. Create a nice big arc. And then keep that arc going with the chest lifted, shoulders rolling back, lifting up out of the shoulders. And then exhale, chin to chest. Again, feel free to rest your head on a block if you have one, or you can just let your head hang. So one thing that's important to note, in Yin Yoga, most all of the poses, we're basically surrendering all of our weight into gravity. And this is one of the few poses where we're not doing that in the shoulders. So collapsing into the shoulders would look like this. We want to push into the arms, the forearms, to lift the shoulders. So you can keep the chest lifting and opening. And pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. Lower slowly all the way down to the mat. Take your hands next to your chest and then push up and back to child's pose. Knees and feet together, hips resting on the heels. You can extend the arms either forward, or if your shoulders need a little break, rest your arms beside you. And when you're ready, making your way back to all fours. This next posture is called saddle. So I'm going to face so you can kind of see from the front and the side. The first modification is to take the block, or again maybe a couple books. You can sit on the block and bend the knees so that the tops of the feet are resting on the mat. So from the side, basically looks like this. So you want the knees together as best as you can keep them together. So you might stay here. You might sit straight on the mat without the block. You want both sitting bones grounded. And the third and final option is to start to lower back. For the arms, you can either rest them beside you, or if you want a nice chest opener, make like cactus arms, or you can even reach them overhead. I kind of like that variation, this variation in this pose. Your knees may separate a little bit, that's okay. Remember, don't force yourself into anything. Listen to what your body is asking of you. The first yama in yoga is ahimsa, non-violence. And that includes non-violence to yourself by trying to force your body to do something it's not ready for. Check in with your breath. Notice if your mind has wandered. And then very slowly make your way back up. If you're down, extend your legs out in front of you. Windshield wiper at the feet. And our next posture is called caterpillar. So this is a forward fold. Both feet are together, the legs are extended. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, fold forward. So you allow your back to round as much as it wants to. If you have really tight hamstrings, you can bend your knees. You can even take a blanket and put it under the knees for some support. And remember, we're not forcing anything. We're not trying to fold in half. We're just allowing the body to go where it will go. The head hang, releasing any tension from your neck, your shoulders, the upper back. Release and relax your jaw. Notice how the body changes just within that 3-minute period of the pose. When you first come into a pose, you might feel really stiff, a lot of resistance. And as you
take time to just breathe into those spaces and let go. You might notice the body starting to soften, to release, to become more comfortable. And then make your way back up to seated.
We'll be coming into our final pose, which is a straddle. So for this, I'm going to sit on a blanket off of my mat and take the legs wide, just so that the backs of the feet have a little bit of padding. If you're on carpet, it shouldn't be a problem. So just like our caterpillar, except that the legs are wide, we're going to fold over, allowing the back to round.
Again, you can bend your knees, you can support underneath the knees with a blanket if needed. And just let go. Remember, you're not trying to force anything to happen. You're just allowing. together. Windshield wiper out the feet.
We're coming into our final posture for practice, and this is called Shavasana, one of the most important postures that we do. So it's also one of everyone's favorite postures. So you can lay down on your back. Let your arms rest beside you with your palms facing up. If you have low back issues and you need to bend the knees or put a blanket under the knees, that's okay. The main deal here is that you want to get super comfortable so that you can relax every single bit of your body. And just allow your breath to return back to its natural rhythm and pace. So no more effort in focusing on the breath. And just notice what's floating around in the mind. What kind of thoughts are arising? Let them come and go as they please. I'm not trying to change anything or stop it. But think of yourself as a dispassionate witness. Just take a step back and watch what surfaces in the mind without judging or analyzing. And if at any time you find yourself getting caught by a thought and going down the rabbit hole, just bring yourself back to the present moment, watching the thoughts. Relax your jaw, soften all of the muscles in your face. Relax your legs and your arms, your hips, your torso, and your head and your neck. And just be. Slowly start to bring your attention back to your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, putting Bring some gentle movement back into the body. Bring the feet together, extend your arms overhead, point your toes, breathe in, stretch all the way from the toes to the fingertips. Deep breath in, exhale, side out, relax. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Nice little massage for the low back. Now take your right arm extended overhead. Keep your knees bent, roll onto your right side. Use your arm as a pillow. Just enjoying these last few moments of stillness, stillness of the body, stillness of the mind. And take a moment here of gratitude towards yourself. Thank yourself for providing your body, your mind, and your spirit with the practice of yoga. When you feel ready, push up to a comfortable seat. Bring the hands together at the heart, lower the chin to the chest. Thank you all so much for joining me. We close our practice with the word namaste. It's basically a way of paying respect to each other, acknowledging that we are all one. So thank you for joining me today, and sharing your time and your practice. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed it.